Good afternoon, Miss Liz.
Hello there. How are you? Greetings. I take it
Oh,
you're broadcasting from the desert tonight.
yep, another night under the full moon. The full moon might have passed, but I think we had one recently.
Oh, it's still very powerful. I was looking at it earlier, actually. I bet you get a good view of the full moon where you are.
Oh yeah, it's you can go skiing actually with just the light of the full moon.
Oh, wow. Have you ever done that?
No, that sounds too sketchy. But there's night hikes, which I need to do. I need to do a night hike, which it's so bright you can go hiking at night.
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
actually too paranoid. Like I don't want to get abducted by an alien or something. Like I don't want to. I don't know. There's chupacabras and Bigfoots.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I
I
want to.
forgot about Chupacabra. That's like down where you are, isn't it? Chupacabras are in the desert. You know what? We should do a channeling session of Art Bell. How much do you know of Art Bell?
I don't know anything about. I mean, like, I know everyone wants me to ask about him, but I don't know anything about him.
Yeah. Yeah. Art Bell was the one that first really exposed the Chupacabra phenomena. And I channeled Art Bell the other night on a live show. I'll tell you what, just an announcement for those of you that do know what Art Bell did and you followed Art Bell and you're fans of Art Bell, you know he passed a while ago. Let's channel him. Please send all of your Art Bell questions to moongrass777@gmail.com. And of course, if you're on the Patreon, you've got the Discord, you contact Mr. Robot in the Discord. But yeah, let's start gathering questions up for Art Bell. We'll do an Art Bell show.
Cool.
So what are we doing tonight?
Well, on that note, can you ask someone like Jesus or somebody if chupacabras are real quick?
Chupacabras real? Yes, they are.
Do they look like wolves?
No.
What are they? Are they like a species of dog or what are they?
Are they a species of dog? No, I get they're more reptile in nature.
And do they drink blood to live?
Do they drink blood to live? That is correct.
And do they primarily drink like goat and cow blood?
Any type of blood, whatever's easiest.
Okay, one last question. Have they attacked people ever?
Protect people? No.
Oh, well, I guess one more question. Have people ever seen a real chupacabra, just in general?
Chupacabra? Yes, several times, but they don't know what it is.
Can you ask if it's a shapeshifter?
Ooh, good question. Is it a shapeshifter? No.
So this makes me think of Skinwalker Ranch. Have you heard of Skinwalkers?
I actually did a session with Channeling Eric, and we covered Skinwalker briefly today.
What did you guys get on that?
It was some sort of energetic projection that was coming via aliens. Isn't that kind of weird?
So are they walking around the desert, Skinwalkers?
They're skinwalkers walking around the desert. No, they're. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, are they, walking around in our physical dimension?
Walking around in our physical dimension? No, they're being projected here.
And what is their purpose?
What is the purpose of The skinwalker. To foster curiosity.
Is that from Source? The Source put that there?
Source put that there. No.
All right.
Other dimensional beings put that there.
Yeah, I would love to channel Willa again because she's the extra dimensional expert, but she actually didn't like being probed, which is really weird.
Yeah, she did not like it. She was lying the whole way through. What is this? What is this cone here?
Well, I wanted to touch on the feelings that people feel during the day, and I would like to channel Abraham Hick or Abraham, who is channeled through Esther Hicks.
Okay.
So let me know if you get a connection with Abraham.
Okay, I do.
Can you ask Abraham how Esther is doing?
As in Esther Hicks or as in Esther in the Bible?
Oh, Esther Hicks, the lady right here who channeled.
Oh, okay. How's Esther doing? Very well. I believe she's doing very good. Has she passed?
No, I'm pretty sure she's alive.
Okay. She's doing well.
And being a channeler, we'll touch on a little bit of a side note. Being like a channeler, can she talk to her husband who has passed?
Well, let me ask her. Being a channeler, can you talk to your husband who's passed? No, it's too painful. I totally understand that. It is very painful when you're trying to channel your own loved one in spirit. It is.
Yeah, it sounds rough. But you can hear, I mean, as a channeler, you can hear them, which I feel would alleviate almost all of that pain because they're there still, right?
Yeah, but I don't know how to describe it. So, for instance, I think I disclosed on a couple of occasions, I've had many close people to me that have crossed over. And as long as the messages are benign, then that's fine, right? Yeah. But a lot of times when, I can hardly even talk about it now. If my mom's standing there and she's like, I love you, and she's sending messages about the kids or something, it just makes it's hard. It's like really difficult. I would actually prefer it if somebody else would channel my mom for me because, I'm looking at her in hologram form, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just, it's hard because, it's, even though, yes, I'm very fortunate, I can channel her and I count my blessings every day, but I would love to just be able to, hold her or, give her a hug and it's the same with my best friend. My best friend, also one, really close friend of mine passed away several years ago. It's really hard for me to channel her. And I've had several close family friends pass away.
And just a real short question on that. When you see those people, do they present themselves as how you remember them or a more youthful presentation?
As how I remember them. My mother has presented herself in my dreams because she does talk to me a lot in my dreams. She's presented herself like young and, slim and pretty hair and look at my hair and just, it's silly really. But, and I remember that because she was really happy. She was like, look at me, look at me. And, but most of the time, just how I really remember them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very interesting. So let's just, and I really wish I had a picture for Abraham, but everyone just really references Abraham as Escher. Um, so I assume Abraham is something more like a higher dimensional being. We've asked Source if Source channels through Escher, and you kind of got that it's a small part of Source.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting about that is, it's like what part of Source is being channeled? Can you ask?
It's coming from the solar plexus area of Source, right? Source isn't a human body. It doesn't look anything like a human body. It
Right.
actually looks like a round ball of really potent, blinding light and high vibrational energy. What is so interesting today is that somebody was asking me about that last video we did, and you were asking me to channel Source. And they said, well, why do we have to go through so many scenarios, so many reincarnations, so many life lessons, so many, so many heartaches and traumas? And through thousands of lifetimes. And the reason we got right, and this message was specifically catered for her, the reason we have to go through that is in order to provide unconditional love, which Source does provide for us, right? Unconditional love. You have to be able to understand every single scenario, right? You have to. If you don't understand everybody's situations and all sides of that situations, which is what we do in every lifetime, we're either the victim, the perpetrator, the witness, and we keep experiencing it over and over, and we have to master these many, like almost millions of life lessons. But if we don't have this massive broad understanding of every circumstance and every possibility out there, right, we can't love anybody unconditionally because we're always judging.
But you know what's weird about that is when you're in non-physical, you can see all perspectives and all outcomes. So it's like, why transform into a physical being where you're limited to a lifetime that has a theme, when you could just be in non-physical and instantaneously perceive, unlimited amount of possibilities. It's like, why, it seems pointless.
It does. But the problem is most of us as human reincarnates, right? We're only at level 2 or level 3. And there's many levels that our soul has to climb. So I see like up to 8 different levels. There may be more, but I see up to 8. Not saying that that's a right or wrong answer. That's just what I see. And once you start getting up to like those higher levels, you start to gain angelic status, right? You can't be angelic status if you haven't gone through all of these scenarios and have this full understanding. How would you possibly be able to help somebody if you don't know what it's like to be in their position unconditionally?
Well, I mean, it makes sense from our 2D, 3D perspective of what we've gathered, but I feel like we just really have to be in non-physical to really grasp like religion and the point of it all. But
yeah.
let's
well
ask.
The point is to serve God.
That's so weird, and that's why the aliens say we're in a slave system.
Right, because they don't have to serve anybody, I don't think. Let's ask, I'm asking Bashar, do you have to serve anyone? No, they say no.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. Because that picture that paints is that, the religious point of view is that the universe is there only for God and God's creations. But when you have all these other entities that are outside of it, it's like, why are they there? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Because are they from a different universe? No, they're in the same universe, but it's about defeating that dark element of the universe. It's about filling the universe with nothing but light and goodness and warmth and joy and love. We're always in a war between light and dark.
So, we'll touch on this in a moment, but can you I want to direct some questions at Abraham, the entity who channels through Esther, about the feelings of happiness and the feelings of anger. Just to confirm a few things, can you ask Abraham if when you're happy, then that is an indication that you are on your right life path?
You're happy. Is that an indication that you are on your correct life path? No. It's just an emotion you're experiencing.
So the channels of Abraham says that when you're feeling like happy and love, it is the way that your soul communicates to your body that you're like on the right path.
We're experiencing love. Does that mean we're on the right path? Love is different from happiness.
And can you ask Abraham what is happening higher dimensionally when we experience anger?
We're being pulled down by the dark. But it is a necessary emotion. Because you can't go up to, process and gratitude and enlightenment without having to feel dark emotions. You don't have light without dark, right? You have to experience dark in order to experience enlightenment.
Yeah, I wish this was lining up to the channels of Abraham with our life path, but I'm wondering, what does Abraham think about desire as an emotion vibrationally?
So I'm actually channeling the real Abraham as I know biblical Abraham. I'm not sure who her Abraham is.
Yeah, it's actually not Abraham, the Bible Abraham.
Oh, okay. Hence the wrong answers or different answers. Okay, who is her Abraham?
Well, so it actually self-identifies as pure, basically like the God energy, to very short description. It says it is all that is, which is kind of like what God would say it is. It's
Okay, I'm getting conflicting information on that, but okay, that's what she knows. That's fine. I'm not knocking her in any way, shape, or form. That's what's been presented to her. You can only channel what's being presented, right? And but I don't feel that it is ultimately a higher state of consciousness or a higher being.
Well, we got that. We asked Source, and we got that Source was channeling through her.
Yeah, but then Source channels through me. Source channels through everybody.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Because Source is within all of us.
Can you ask Jesus who channels through Esther Hicks?
Who channels through Esther Hicks? Abraham. Okay, but is it the biblical Abraham? No, it is not the biblical Abraham. It's almost like a collective.
Yeah, can you ask Jesus if it's source energy?
Is it source energy? Partially, yes. Partial. Okay. It's a collective.
So now that you've kind of made that link, can we then transfer that link and ask that collective directly?
Yes, I have the collective here now. Sorry about that.
No worries. Can you ask the collective if what is happening vibrationally when we experience anger?
What is happening vibrationally when we experience anger? It's well, our cells are vibrating at a lower frequency, and it's an emotion that is typically buried and it just erupts like a volcano. It's almost like an uncontrollable emotion depending upon how severe the experience is.
And the collective, do they concur that our feelings are actually our soul communicating with our physical body?
Feelings, is that actually our soul communicating with our physical body? Well, they say yes.
Okay. I like that you put that in air quotes.
well, because, you know, okay, because I do the CTT, right? For anybody new, that's consciousness transformation techniques. And the emotions are felt in the conscious mind, in the subconscious, which is technically the unconscious mind, but we call it subconscious in remote viewing world because unconscious, technically, a lot of people think of it as somebody's knocked out, they're unconscious, right? So I say subconscious, and then the soul. So there's 3 different categories of emotions that are coming in from all over the place.
Okay.
Your conscious mind, right? You can say and program your conscious mind, I'm going to be a positive person and I'm going to be happy and I'm going to be smiley and I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, right? Your subconscious is operating completely different to the conscious mind. So the subconscious is like, I feel depressed, I have anxiety, right. I'm not happy, I don't feel well, whatever, right? Your conscious mind is not operating with the subconscious. Now that's a problem. That's a problem. Then you have the soul that's operating on a totally different emotional level, which is, I've got this path, I have to stick to it. Now I'm going to have to throw a spanner in the works. Maybe they won the $2 billion lottery, but you know, they're not supposed to be happy and experience something like this. So there's a big gust of wind coming and it blows the ticket away and they can never find it again. Okay, right. That's what the soul does.
Oh, yeah, I believe it 100%.
So there's lots of different emotions coming in from different places.
But on that note, I feel like we most readily experience the conscious level rather than the subconscious. And that's kind of what I'm referring to.
Okay.
Like our most immediate feeling. So basically the point is Abraham, the collective, says the key to life is to find what brings you joy and continuously every step of the way keep finding what makes you happy, because that happiness is your soul talking to you and telling you that you're on the right path.
Okay, now put in that way, yes, that is correct.
Okay.
As in your purpose, your passion,
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that is correct, because people that are following their purpose and their passion, and they have to do it, like a painter has to paint, a writer has to write.
Yeah.
Okay. And when they don't do it, it starts hurting their soul. It's like they have to do it.
Oh yeah. So it's so funny that this image is pulled up because Abraham actually refers to this whole concept as the vortex. Can can you ask? I hate saying Abraham because I feel like I don't want to link up to the other Abraham,
Yeah.
but this Abraham, can you ask him just to reinstill into like your channel what they think about the vortex?
It's it's as close to perfection, life perfection, that you can get.
Okay, and then here's the key: ask them how we get into the vortex.
Ooh, how do we get into the vortex? You have to find your way there. It won't be just, it's not something you can just pop into, right? You have to find your way. You are led to that vortex. And sometimes, people never find that vortex. They just go through life, going through the motions, existing, not living, and they may have a few lifetimes that they have to experience until they find it.
Well, so they say that you're in the vortex whenever you're feeling that complete connection with like something like a painter painting, that you're actually in the vortex at that moment. Can you ask him if that's true?
That is correct. But a lot of people don't know what their purpose and their passion is in life. They're still
Yeah.
searching. So then they're outside of that vortex.
Okay. Can you ask that collective what's the quickest way we can find our reason for living as people?
Processing energy.
Cool. Living life, in other words, many lifetimes, probably, right?
Well, processing all the life lessons that you have here. See, you're going to be blocked in by your soul, because your soul will say, okay, but when you're on that vortex path, or when you're in the vortex, that's a state of bliss and enlightenment, right? That is, you found what you're supposed to be doing. And yes, we all have blockages, but you have to go through certain life lessons a lot of times in order to get to the vortex. So by energy processing, I mean, life lessons are energy processing.
Okay. Can you ask them if we're driving down the road and we experience some road rage, does that small blip of anger throw us off of our life path?
Yes, it's a distraction.
And from their perspective, how quickly can we get back onto our life path? Um, can we shift our frequency quickly?
How do we get back? Do we shift on our frequency quickly? No, you have to uncover why you reacted that way.
Yeah, totally. That sounds like psychology 101. There must be a psychologist in that collective.
Yeah, you
Tell
have
me
to
about your
figure it out.
mother, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What was your earliest memory? No, you have to, because people that are functioning in a state of bliss and enlightenment, the road rage, embarrassing situations, maybe being verbally abused in public, or some, minor incident, it doesn't faze them.
Yeah. So what's funny is from all these sessions, I've learned to really try not to let anything ever bother me. And I pretty much laugh everything off now. And I have quote unquote spirit numbers that I see all the time. I was telling Liz, I see 113 all the time. And the other day I went to the post office and I pulled up to my I don't know what you call it, parking station, and it ended up being parking spot 113. And, and I just knew the whole day was going to be like that after that. And sure enough, I was driving down the road and there was a dirt bike that pulled in front of me, and it's little like racing numbers was 9 and 4, which equals 13. I just kept getting 13 all day long. Oh, and I looked right after that. I looked at the crosswalk sign, and it had 13 seconds left on the timer. So as soon as you learn how to completely be unfazed by the things that bother you in life, instead of reacting with anger and fear and hatred at people on the road and little things like that, you start experiencing what I would call like the pure awareness of reality, which is kind of what I'm always trying to touch on, is like, what is reality? And it seems like if you're on this vibration of enthusiasm and passion and joy, you start to experience this God perspective, which is really weird. Can you ask I don't know, Abraham Collective, what their perspective is on reality?
What is your perspective on reality? It's a simulation.
Yeah, I agree. And can you ask them if there's a bigger part of us that is non-physical compared to our physical self?
Is there a big part of us that is not physical compared to? We're mostly non-physical.
Cool.
Ooh,
so yeah, that's lining up to what I know, because last time I tried to ask this, we asked source and we got a no on that, which is so weird.
Well, we're bound by source law. We're not supposed to know things, which is why we're not really supposed to be contacting aliens, because it's outside source law, right?
Well, but on that note, not supposed to, but we're able to, and there's no passage in the Bible that says don't talk to aliens. So, that tidbit, I think the only person who's ever said that, like, in the history of the earth was you, because you just channeled that from source. But
No, it's more to do with don't contact anything outside of the realm of God.
Right.
And they're definitely operating outside the realm of God.
But you know what's bizarre about that is they seem to be living happy, fulfilled lives. Like Bashar, he's somewhat of an artist. He makes these huge sculptures, tells us how to be enlightened. So, a lot of people are worried about being outside of God, but I'm just saying that there is a possibility to be happy outside of that realm, but it's not like we have a choice in the matter, really.
We're not allowed to be outside of that realm.
Yeah, exactly.
They are. Is it possible for you to be happy outside of that realm? Yes, that is correct. I'm asking Bashar. They can operate happily and freely outside of that realm. We're not allowed to.
So, since you have Bashar, the most interesting information I've found on Source is from Bashar, because Bashar just says that Source is basically everything. And from Bashar's perspective, it sounds like he is of Source energy when he talks about it through channels. Can you ask him his perspective? Is he from Source energy?
From Source energy? No, he's not from Source energy.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Can we have Bashar prove that we're talking to the right Bashar? Because Bashar is quite the name. It's very earthly.
Okay. Compared to its counterparts, yes, it is very earthly.
Yeah. Well, ask Bashar if they can prove that they are the alien named Bashar.
Prove that you are the alien named Bashar. Yes, by questioning, yes. But other than like showing up and going on a camera, and no.
Okay. Well, I like pushing the boundaries of experimentation. So can you ask Bashar to mention something about me that only, I don't know, a higher dimensional being would know?
Something about you. But if it's a higher dimensional being and it's something about you, you conscious mind may not even know about it.
Yeah, but that's okay. I'll resonate with it or
Okay.
not.
All right. What can you tell us about Mr. Robot that only a higher dimensional being would know? Your soul is split.
Uh-huh.
You tend to have, your soul tends to have a split personality. That's quite bizarre. That's very different. You tend to go to two extremes. You either go really, really dark or really, really light.
I think that's just a definition of me being a Cancer.
Oh, okay. But that's what I'm getting. Like
Yeah.
it's like your soul has a split personality. That's very unusual.
But
I've
so
done, mm-hmm.
Bashar can see that though?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I totally identify with that, so I can't say that that's wrong. So, I'll give him the kudos deserved. So on that note, someone sent me some questions for Bashar. Um, what does Bashar think we can do to remove mercury from our body?
Detox.
But can you ask him if alpha lipoic acid helps with that?
No.
Does DMSA help with that?
Yes. What is DMSA?
I'm unfamiliar, but it's a chelator, and a chelator, the only chelator I know of is it's an herb you can buy at the store. It's like it's in all my drinks I drink.
I've never heard of it.
Chelator herb. Let's just mm, I mean, there's tons of chelators. Can you ask them if chelators help with getting mercury out of our body?
Not all. No. That's too much of a blanket generalization. It depends whether your body aligns to the chelator.
Okay, well, what does Bashar think would best detoxify a human body?
For mercury,
Just detoxification in general.
what is the best way to detox the human body? Water fast.
I think I'm thinking it looks like parsley. It might be parsley. I don't know. Can you ask him if parsley helps detoxing?
Does parsley help with detox? Yes, especially if you juice it.
Yeah. It's in the section where you see this stuff, the parsley and all those things. You just grab all of them and throw them in your juice. I forgot which one it is. But um Okay, and BPA. Can you ask Bashar if humans have a lot of plastics in our body?
That's a good question. Do we have a lot of plastic within our body? Yes, we do.
And is there any good way to remove those plastics?
I feel like we breathe it in, we absorb it. I'm being told, we drink it. Excuse me. Our body is absolutely riddled with plastic.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a blood sample and analyze a large blood sample, you would find plastic in the blood sample.
Can you ask Bashar if any type of food helps remove plastics from our body?
Help remove plastic from our body. No, once it's in, you're stuck with it. Boom. That's not
Yeah.
good.
Well,
That's
yeah,
really bad.
it's it's a foreign material and your body doesn't know how to really deal with that. Can you ask Bashar if there's a lot of aluminum in our bodies from the cans we drink?
Yes, it's also in the water supply.
And which one does Bashar think is worse for us, the aluminum or the BPA and plastics?
Just plastic. Which one? Aluminum, plastic, plastic, because it alters our DNA and the DNA in our cells. And the more plastic we take into our body, the more diseases we're going to have, generations down the line. This is
Interesting.
completely out of control.
Yeah. So I know that Bashar's whole race doesn't ingest anything but like energy. Can you ask Bashar how we can start just living off of energy?
Oh, how can we start just living off of it? It is possible. Prana, Prana.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that live off just energy. They just live off of light.
Yes, I was just thinking that right now. There's people who believe that they can just live off of sunlight, and no one has really tested if that's true or not.
Can they live indefinitely? Yes.
Um, Breatharianism. Hmm. Yep, I've seen videos. Well, for instance, there's this kid. He's supposed to be the reincarnation of Buddha, and he sat under a tree. And he sat there. Supposedly, it's actually this kid right here, Ram Bahadur Ram Bom John. I'm probably not saying that correctly, but I'm pretty sure that's him. Sat under this tree for like forever. I want to say months or something, and never was fed. Supposedly, um, I just want to. Oh yeah, Buddha Boy. Let's see. Yeah, that must be him. Um, can we channel Buddha?
Yeah, that is correct. He did not eat.
Awesome. Can you ask Buddha if he has incarnated into Buddha Boy?
Yes, that is correct.
And something very interesting about this is that I believe the story goes, like a YouTube thing I watched, was that he like was on fire. Like you can go visit him, and well, so what's interesting is they actually put up this huge barrier. Um and he was like on fire through deep meditation. Can you ask Buddha why that happened?
Why did it happen that through meditation? Because the electricity was flowing so vastly through his body, it sparked a fire.
Yeah, so it says that he was basically sitting in fire and wasn't being harmed.
Yeah, it doesn't affect him. His vibration was so high.
Interesting. So cool. This actually reminds me of this girl who's of this side of the world, and she supposedly can see into your body and see what ailments you have. Can you ask Buddha if that's possible when you're enlightened, if you can see the ailments of people?
Is that possible? You can see the ailments. That is correct. Yeah, I can do some of that. Yes, that is true.
And there's no way I'll find her now that I want to find her, of course, but I would love to probe her because it's very bizarre what she does. Oh, you know what she can do? It's really cool. She can read a book with her head like a bandana around her eyes.
You know what? I've heard about those people. Some of them are in the remote viewing groups on Facebook where it's called blindfolded sight.
Yeah, I think that's so cool, and I probably even tried it when I was interested. Here she is actually. So you said that's a part of remote viewing?
So there's people in the remote viewing group on Facebook that talk about blindfolded sight, and they believe that it is connected to remote viewing. Now, the remote viewers won't believe that, but they certainly believe it. Apparently, somebody was even driving a car blindfolded.
So this is actually her, and this is the interview I was thinking of with this guy. And this guy actually, once upon a time, one of our videos recently, when I was talking about Kundalini energy, he's the one that was in doing the interview with the Kundalini people. Anyways, so you got Buddha on the phone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you ask him if this girl's claims are all legitimate?
Most of them are, yes.
And has she been persuaded in any way to lie about her abilities for the sake of fame or anything?
She's been persuaded to lie about her abilities. A little bit.
Yeah, so right here in this interview, she's probing into his body and is looking at his heart condition and stuff. And I don't know, at a certain point, she is blindfolded. Can you ask Buddha if she personally can read with her eyes closed?
That is correct. She can.
Yeah, so you know what's interesting is, but as an observer, you have to wonder, if it's staged or not. But supposedly they'll hand her a book upside down, and she'll be like, "Oh, you handed it to me upside down," and she'll flip it over, and she'll still read it even though her eyes are blindfolded. And she said that this is just opened because of her master opened her third eye.
My third eye's open, and I can't do that.
You should try it.
Well, you can train yourself to do it. There's training courses, blindfolded sight training courses. And for some reason, it keeps coming back into my energy field, right? And the fact that you brought it back in today, it's like it's nagging me. It's tugging at me. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, you have to learn how to do this.
Well, I'll tell you what's nagging me. Look at the top of my screen right here.
Oh God. Okay.
You guys don't believe me. I see 113 all day long, and you guys are just witnessing it now with me.
What does that 113 represent here?
I think it's telling it. I think it's how many YouTube results or something. It's saying there's 113 results. So just showing you guys there's synchronicity in case anyone hasn't experienced it before.
That's crazy.
But anyways, I'm really interested in this idea that you can see into a body and perceive ailments. There's this doctor who can see what's wrong with you. Well, he was an energy person, and he became a doctor because he had the ability to basically travel into your body. What is his name? I want to say medical medium, like you guys are always mentioning. Is that who it is?
A lot of people mention medical medium. I really don't know what medical medium does.
Yeah, it might be the medical medium. Can you ask whoever you got if the medical medium is the person who is a doctor and can see your problems energetically?
No, just believes that they give out really good information, intuitive information.
Can you pause the video real quick? I got the book downstairs, but I can just go find out who it is real quick.
Okay.
Cool, found it. So the book I have is called Dream Healer, and it says by Adam, author of The Path of the Dream Healer. The back of the book says at 19, he cured a rock star and an astronaut, and everyone wants a piece of this private young healer, but nobody really knows what he does. So his name is Adam. When he was 16, he discovered that he had a gift. Basically realized he knew how to do like energy work. So can we kind of probe either Adam's soul, preferably?
Okay, let's probe and find out what he does. So you say nobody really knows what he does?
Yeah, I mean he tells you what he does in his book, but
he's operating on a very intuitive level.
So are you asking Adam's soul, or who are we talking to at the moment?
I'm just connecting with him at the moment. So he just intuitively knows that something is good or something isn't. It's like he has a meter going on inside that, and he'll consult with this meter. Like, almost like green is good, red is, stop, green for go, red for stop. I'm just saying hypothetically here. I'm not saying that's exactly what he does. But what I'm picking up on, it's like he has this internal meter system, and he can intuitively tune in and find out like what is good and what isn't.
Yeah, so he apparently like kind of flows in and can flow into your body and like perceive an ailment, and I don't know if he imagines it disappearing or how it works, but can we ask maybe Jesus how Adam is able to heal people?
How is Adam able to heal people? With his mind. Is he the medical medium?
I kind of doubt it, but he might.
Oh, okay.
He might be, but I don't know. I think people just refer to him as dream healer because I think he goes into this dream state
Oh,
and he actually shares. You'll actually see it right here in that he has these huge headaches from doing this. But when I read this book, because I'm an energy worker as well, I was super inspired to see if I could do this. But it seems like it's a whole different level of healing that he's accomplished. And I'm wondering if the average person could figure out how to do this.
okay. But the fact that he may suffer from headaches, that's very bad. That is his body telling him that what he is doing is not good for him.
Yeah, so maybe he's not grounding or something.
He's not protected. He's absorbing their problems.
Yeah.
That's bad. That is really bad.
So that's probably where his huge headaches come from.
Well, it's a warning.
Okay.
We all get warnings. You being an energy healer, I'm sure you've had warnings through your own body that is telling you this is not good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I can get very drained and I have to assume that was just me not grounding properly or something like that.
No, it's because whatever it is you're doing, it's filtering into your energy field.
But so the question is how do we heal ourselves with these techniques productively in such a way we're not harming ourselves?
We're not cleansing ourselves properly. That's the issue.
Okay. And what is the best way to facilitate a cleansing?
To have like a source light wash over you, almost like taking a shower in source light.
And so I ask this every time we talk about this, but I always just try to reconfirm. Is it us like asking and then imagining that it's happening that is causing the cleansing, or do all we have to do is just ask for it to be done and it's done?
No, we have to envision it as well.
Okay.
That's a good question. We did a probe on the ocean the other week. You know how relaxed you feel after you've been at the ocean or around water, with waves flowing in and out?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to cleanse yourself. As the tide is going out, the waves are coming in and then they're going back out. As it's going out, it can take away that negative, that energy that you're not supposed to have.
Yeah.
So maybe envision yourself not only having the source light shower, but standing on the beach, maybe doing a little meditation where the waves are coming in and the waves are flowing out. And as they're flowing out, they're taking away. And, the energy, the ocean we got was a massive cleansing, earth cleansing mechanism.
So I don't know where I came across it. It was in my search with Chinese medicine and energy healing, trying to find out how to cleanse. And I try to use, like I've done like Palo Santo and smudge sticks. I'm trying to think of the herb that they put in the smudge stick. But you're familiar with like smudging to get rid of negative energy. Can we ask?
Yes, but that's outside of the body, not within the body.
Right. Well, so the energy healer's perspective is that if you work on someone, then all that negative energy is kind of stuck on your hands, and you have to smudge it off.
No, no, that's not correct. It goes internally.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
smudging can help with the outer layers, but then what are you going to do with the inner layers you've absorbed? Energy has to have a host. Dark energy. Light energy does not have to have a host. Dark energy does.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that if it's not sticking to you, it can be sticking to somebody in your house.
Um, Maybe Jesus. Can we ask Jesus if burning sage can rid your house of like negative entities?
Burning sage, rid your house of negative energy. Yes, that is correct. Yes. But your house,
Yeah.
not internally yourself or internally your family members or other people in the house, even animals.
So what's weird about that is whenever I burn sage, I feel like I just piss off ghosts because then I'll get like really bad dreams. And it's only when I try to sage. Can you ask Jesus why that would happen?
Mr. Robot tries to sage. Yeah, they're letting you know. They're letting you know they're angry. That is correct. Yeah, you do. Because you're basically saying you're not welcome here in my home.
Um,
You have a female in your home.
yeah, there's supposedly, so you know what's interesting is there's this tarot card reader I met once upon a time through social media, and she very clearly could tell there was like a female entity in my house that was just walk around and make fun of me with my room being dirty and stuff like that. So weird. It's like I don't get it. But can you ask which one is more effective, Palo Santo or Sage?
Palo Santo or Sage, which is more? Palo Santo. That's a good question.
Yeah,
I've always just used Sage.
you know what's interesting about that is when I was trying to access the Akashic records, um, the only time I was actually able to get into it was when I burned Palo Santo instead of sage. It really cleared the room, and the vibrate, like all the energy in my room was very high. It was really cool.
Okay, I've never heard of it. That's excellent. Thank you.
Palo Santo removes stagnant energies. So there's a lot of people who believe that if you use white sage, that you're offending the American Indian spirits. Can you ask if white sage, if you have to be a Native American to use it specifically?
Do you have to be a Native American to use it? Specifically, do you have to be a Native American to use it? It's helpful if you are, but no, you don't have to. No, anyone can use it.
Because on that note, I was kind of worried, and a lot of energy healers are worried to really use it because if you're not Native American, I don't know where the belief comes from, but the belief is somewhat like, you're not supposed to, along the lines of that. And in that realm, can you ask if a line of salt would prevent negative energy from crossing into your space?
Is a line of salt prevent negative energy from crossing into your space? No, it does not.
There was a point in my life when I had this haunted partner. I was pouring lines of salt near the windows, the doors.
Oh, God.
She was bringing in all kinds of evil spirits, and it was terrible. But
oh, Lord.
so apparently that didn't do anything. Yeah. So the real question then becomes how does the average person get a ghost to leave their space?
That's a good question. How does the average person get to leave their space? You tell it it's not welcome there and that they have to leave.
And so,
was that your Halloween costume?
No, I was a cow for Halloween, actually.
You were what?
A cow.
Oh, gosh.
Of course.
Were you in hiding looking for chupacabras?
In the wilderness? No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Were you waiting for the chupacabra to appear and you'd
Oh
have
my
to
God.
call on the side with a camera so you could take a picture?
With a trap and a... No. You would think.
That's so funny. I just asked if there are any Sasquatch in the desert, and I got to know. They don't like the desert.
Yeah, well, there's not much to hide behind here.
Ah.
So what's interesting is Bashar and Seth. Can we pull in Seth from Seth Speaks?
Yes.
So Seth says that ghosts are typically just other entities of a different frequency that are commingling in our frequency. And the way that he describes it is when you're asleep and your consciousness elevates and you're in a higher dimension, and let's just say you're sleeping, and let's just say you dreamt that you knocked over a bottle, that higher dimensional being would experience you as being a ghost because you just knocked over their bottle and they didn't really see you because you're not the same frequency as them. So, can you ask Seth if ghosts are just entities of a different frequency than us?
Yeah. What is that thing on the bottom left-hand corner, man? That thing looks like a little demon. That's a little scary. What
like
is that? I feel like it's it looks like that looking at me. It's weird.
Yeah, I was trying to pick a pretty
Oh, you didn't have to change it. Sorry. What am I asking, Seth? If they're what are ghosts?
If ghosts are simply just any entity that is of a different frequency than us.
No, that's too simplified.
Okay, can you ask Seth if we are ghosts when we're asleep?
Yes, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because we're
you got your 113 on that girl?
Yeah.
Look at the Adam the Dream Healer.
Oh, I know. It stayed the same, which is so weird. I don't know why.
113.
Ask Seth why I see 113.
It's to remind you of your past life.
Ask him if it's a good thing.
Is it a good thing? It's how you perceive it.
So he's just saying, it's subjective. Is that what he's saying?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I can't remember my past life, unfortunately, so it ain't helping.
I feel like you will eventually.
So you've actually told me about some of my past lives, and I wonder which one has to do with 113. Can you ask him if it had to do with my most previous past life?
No, it's an ancient past life. Almost like Egyptian hieroglyphics is what I'm picking up on.
And from our probes, we've got that everyone has a number, basically, right?
Yes, that is correct. They do.
And does us encountering this ancient number that anyone might come across, does that have anything to do with our life path?
Yes, it does. Your life path is predetermined. It's a confirmation or a reassurance that it's already predetermined.
Yeah, I really don't like that whole predetermined notion.
Well, it's great if you have a good life, right?
I know, right? Well,
It's fantastic. Yeah, I'll take predetermination all day long if I'm, if I'm a lady of leisure and I have, plenty of money and I have a gift and I can just sit here doing readings all day and have a good time and have nannies and cooks and cleaners and yeah, it's great.
right.
But how many in the grand scheme of things actually have lives like that? Very few.
Well, can you ask Seth to what degree the predetermination is if it comes all the way down to our daily thoughts?
Ooh, does our predetermination? Yes, that is correct. It does. Most
So
of
I
the
was
time.
so I was predetermined to make these videos with you.
Ooh, were you predetermined to make it? Yes, that is correct. Wow.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to assume everything is, but it's just interesting. Someone was asking in the Discord something about sleep, and I know Seth actually has the answer to this. Can you ask Seth how many hours is optimal for a human to sleep in the night?
Ooh, how many hours is optimal for sleep? 8 point, what? What is it? 7.8.
Can you ask him if we would be better off just breaking up our sleep into many different naps?
Yes, but it also depends on your lifestyle.
And what does Seth have to say about someone who sleeps far longer than average? What are we doing when we're sleeping that long? Non-physically.
We're tucked away in a deep dream state. It's hard to shake out of it.
Does our non-physical self prefer the dream state compared to real life?
That's a good question. Prefer the dream state to real life? No. No, because we have to experience things with our conscious minds in order to achieve ascension. And when we're in a dream state, it's almost like our conscious minds can relax. It's the subconscious that takes over more.
Can you ask Seth why a dream would be so detached from our normal reality? Like, why would it be completely random compared to our normal life?
It's designed that way. If it was just like normal life, it would be very boring. We wouldn't explore. We wouldn't want to know like what this is all about. It's an air of mystery.
Okay, well, so then are dreams self-manifested, or is there an external source that makes our dreams happen?
They're not self-manifested. It's an external source. I mean, look, I've had crazy dreams, and I'm sure you have too. I've had dreams where I'm doing housework all night, and I hate those dreams. Have you ever had those dreams? It's awful.
Now I'm usually in a plane crashing into the ocean or something.
Oh God. Those, I mean, I've washed dishes in my sleep for 7 hours. When I wake up, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I need to have a sleep from my sleep,
Oh,
because it's just, where I'm vacuuming or polishing or cleaning and I'm complaining about the mess. It's just terrible. And then I have a reoccurring dream where I always end up in this flat or a masonette. For those of you outside of the US, a masonette is like a 2-level flat. It's like a flat, but it's on 2 levels.
and
And
this is your house in England or whatever, right?
yeah, it's this, and I mean, it's like out in East London. Okay, I'd never go to East London ever. I don't like East London. If I go to East London, I'm doing it on the Thames on the boat to Greenwich, right, from Embankment. Other than that, I'm not going into East London. I don't like Canary Wharf. I just don't like it. I don't like the vibe there. And I have this flat in East London, and sometimes I'll turn up and I'll put the key in the door, and they've been partying all night, like different people from my past lives, and they've made such a mess, and I have to go in and clean up after their mess. It's just ridiculous. I don't even know what that's about.
Yeah, well, ask Seth why you would be cleaning in a dream.
Oh, that's a good question. Why would I be cleaning in a dream? To remind me that my lifetime, this life, is dedicated to cleaning up not only my mess, but my family's mess and the mess of others. I'm of service. I'm cleaning up the mess. I'm a glorified bloody maid, is what I am. I should be like, how they say medical medium. I should be like housekeeping medium. Who knows?
The psychic maid.
Yeah, the psychic maid. Oh my God. She'll come over and make your bed and read your cards at the same time. Oh my God. That's crazy.
So can you ask Source what happens when we become lucid in a dream?
We're letting go of our conscious mind.
And is that state of being is it similar to what Seth is experiencing now?
What you're experiencing now. Yes, it is very similar. Yes. But we're letting go of the conscious mind, although we think we're in control. I mean, it's almost like this similar.
Yeah, well, like the heart of the question is what are dreams like when you're non-physical, because you don't have a subconscious, that's plagued with traumas and stuff. It's like if you're just non-physical, you don't have a brain to limit you, then the dream state is really just your reality. Can you ask Seth if he can manifest anything he wants into his existence?
Well, that's a good question. Can you manifest anything that you want into existence? No, that's forbidden.
Well, into his not necessarily existence, but into his reality. Can he manifest things into his reality?
Yes, he can have whatever he wants, but it's not tangible. That's the problem. We're trying to manifest things that are tangible.
Yeah.
Because that's how we, that's how we know. That's what we know. That's how we proceed. We have to have tangible. But when you're out of a body, you can manifest whatever you want, but it's not tangible. So then we have to ask the question, why is manifesting the tangible so difficult?
Yeah, what does Seth say?
because it takes up time and space.
Well, so actually, this actually touches on something I learned from one of these guys, that's actually the reason why we incarnate. It's to learn how to actually manifest better. That way, when we go back into spirit, we're actually more expert at it. Can you ask Seth if that's accurate?
We do become better, but that's not the reason we're here.
Okay. I'm just imagining a future version of myself. I feel like this is one of those conversations you have next to a fire with like one of those corn pipes, just,
yeah,
and like a big beard and philosophical. But yeah, it's hard.
How do we manifest? That is, that is the number one thing. How do you just make something appear? You can make it. I can manifest, millions of dollars at gold bars, right? Filling up my room now. As long as they're not in physical form, I can see them. I manifested them. I'm looking around. They're shiny. They're gold bars, like they're stacked from floor to ceiling. How do I manifest that into the physical?
Yeah, actually ask, if you could, the collective of Abraham, how we can manifest our dreams into a reality.
As in your dreams when you're asleep, or as your dreams as in aspirations?
Our desires.
Desires into reality. You have to keep looking inward. And when you clear out the inward, the outward will flow in.
And can you ask Seth if he agrees with that?
Wholeheartedly.
And what does Seth think of the collective of Abraham?
They have good intentions.
And let's see. People are asking us questions still. Look, a question for Seth. Can you ask Seth for a deeper understanding of free will?
What is the deeper understanding of free will? The choices that you make. Yes, the choices that we make are manifested before we get here.
But did we make those decisions before we popped into a body? Like we had a choice beforehand, maybe?
That is correct, yes. So does that mean we need to remote view the point where we were we were putting our list together, and could we remote view and make corrections to that list? No, I got a no on that. Darn it. Okay. I'm trying, people. I'm trying. I'm trying everything.
Can you ask Seth if we can change what we predetermined ourselves?
No.
Yeah, life is really, really weird from the perspective, it's like, why do we have to go become lawyers and whatever? when our whole point of existence is really just these like life lessons. People try so hard to do these things that has no effect on your soul. So it's like, why are we incarnated into this planet where it's like all that's what people were kind of freaked out about when we asked Source that, and Source, you said Source was kind of angry when we asked that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Can you ask Seth why we incarnate as humans?
As humans. Because in God's eyes, that is the perfect way to experience what is needed for the lifetime.
And Seth won't know, but can you ask Source if there's an entity above Source?
Ooh. Is there an entity above you? Yes, there is.
And what is that thing like?
It's the entity that was in the prior universe.
Okay, cool.
That's pretty freaking awesome. That's a good question. Do you have to answer to that? Yes, Source has to answer to that. It's almost like sending a report back. This is how they're doing.
So which one would self-identify as God?
The source of our universe.
Okay, so the one that we talk to.
Yes.
Okay. And
source in other universes are not picking up on what we're saying. Right? Whereas source of this universe knows everything.
And sorry, I was distracted.
This is our Discord page, by the way. For those of you that are not on the Patreon, go to Remote Viewing and Beyond and join. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's relatively cheap, right? For everything that you get. And this is the Discord where everybody makes suggestions to the interviewers and they have conversations.
Oh, I got some questions for Jesus himself. Did Jesus go door to door to preach?
Did you go door to door to preach? Yes.
What does Jesus think about Jehovah's Witness?
What do you think about Jehovah's Witness? They're not following Christianity in its purest form. It's they don't believe it's what I'm getting. Like, don't shoot the messenger. Do not send me hate mail. Okay, I'm not even going to read it. But I'm getting a no. They're not aligned with Christianity.
But on that note, is Jesus saying Christianity most represents the will of God?
Is Christianity most represent the will of God? Yes, that is correct. As according to Jesus, right? Who would most likely say that? If you ask other representatives of other religions, I'm sure that they would align with that particular religion.
So we actually got once upon a time that Jesus likes Buddhism. Can you ask him which one aligns more to the will of God, Buddhism or Christianity?
Buddhism.
And let's go straight up to source. Does source think religion is helping humans?
Do you believe that religion is helping humans? Not anymore. Not for what it was intended to do.
And what does source think about when people pray? Because everyone there, most religions have some form of prayer, even if it's meditation. Does prayer slash meditation help us?
No, because most of the time people, when they're praying, they're asking for things, and that's not really what prayer is about.
Yeah.
Prayer is about expressing appreciation, gratitude, forgiveness, thank you, just, those sorts of emotions. But now it's got turned into, oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz?
Right.
Right? As the country song goes.
Totally. And can you ask source if a new form of religion will come out from channeled through humans, like via source? Will a new religion come out eventually?
Massive. Let's talk about like major. Will a new major religion come out eventually that's channeled through humans? Yes, eventually, yes. But I feel like it's far off in the distance, maybe 100, 200 years.
Well, let's tap into that. What does the perfect religion look like through source's eyes?
What does the perfect religion look like through? Okay, the collective, the whole world, when they come together and they're working towards a goal. So they've dropped every ounce of selfishness and they're all working for the same goal. And it's a peaceful, joyful, productive goal that is a benefit towards humanity. So everybody's fed, everybody's, got water, everybody's got housing. It's almost like a communist ideology.
Yeah. And ask him if it resembles just spirituality.
Yes, yes, because communism in its purest, most high vibrational form is supposed to be like that. The problem is you're asking humans to be, communists, right? You're asking humans to give up all, self-serving properties and personalities and character traits and to benefit the collective. It just won't happen. We're humans. We're not designed that way. That has to be, an elevation of consciousness on a level that is completely unheard of today, right? Yeah. You may have little pockets of communes that operate that way, but if you actually study these communes, there's always, discord and a hierarchy and all of that. This is to operate without any form of hierarchy whatsoever. And just know that this collective can move forward for the common good of all.
And that's the weird thing about religion when you're helping people, because I feel like people who are struggling, they predeterminedly chose that life. And it's so weird to think about trying to take someone off their life path. So I just wonder where compassion fits into sources perspective of how we should live.
Compassion is learned behavior.
Yeah.
Compassion goes along the lines of gratitude. you can't feel compassionate if you don't have gratitude for your own being.
Well, can you ask Source if we should have compassion towards other people?
Should we have compassion towards other people? Always, always. But compassionate is a state of being. It's a lifestyle. And what is so interesting is the fact that as we're moving forward, we're actually moving away from being able to have empathy and compassion. We're moving away from that. Why? Because we're losing all of our observation skills, right? We're disconnecting from one another. We're staring at our mobile phones all day. We're looking at each other behind screens. So the more as we're flowing forward, the less empathetic we're becoming. And, you know, you're talking about 2 to 3 generations. It will be very rare to find people that possess the level of empathy that they do today. Now, that is really bad. So you're talking about a whole collective world of, you know, made up predominantly of narcissists. And if anybody has ever had to deal with somebody who has narcissistic personality disorder, they are possibly the worst people you could get involved in or involved with. Oh, they're awful. They're awful. It's you know, like I said to somebody the other week, it's seek and destroy. When you don't have empathy for other beings, you will seek and destroy. Other beings are disposable. They don't matter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But in order to function in today's society, they wear a mask, and the mask is often perceived by the outside world as they're so charming and they're so wonderful and they're so nice and they're so wow and they're so intelligent and they're the best person you could possibly ever meet. But behind closed doors, the people that live with the actual narcissistic personality disorder, they're in a living hell. Well, that's quite frightening if we're going to dispose of empathy within 2 to 3 more generations. That's scary.
Can you ask Jesus why someone would incarnate being a narcissist?
Why would someone incarnate as? Because they're the predator. They're playing the predatory behavior. You know, like I said, we all tend to be a witness, a victim, or the predator. Okay? Narcissists are predators. Now, I'm not talking about predators in the form of like child abusers and all that, right? I'm talking about they're the instigators. They're the ones that bring the life lessons forward, the harm, danger,
full contract.
Destruction. Right.
Great. Okay, one last question for Source. What is the best way to find our like someone's trying to find their life purpose?
You have to dispense of the life lessons a lot of times in order to find your life purpose. Now, somebody else has also asked a question, can Source do a kind of blanket upgrade to humanity? And that's a negative. No, we can't, because if you did a blanket upgrade, you've just taken away, a whole energy field of life lessons.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to earn that blanket upgrade, right?
Well,
It's not just freely given.
You transcend, right? Where you ascend, the upgrade is within. And then I feel like you're not even on the earth plane at that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's correct. We're all looking for ways to make our lives easier. Let's ask Jesus, how do we make our lives easier? It's okay, so it's how we react to the situation.
Yeah. So what's interesting about that is Bashar says that the only way to tell if you are of higher vibration finally is if you reacted to something differently than you used to, because that is the spectrum of change. It's your own internal response to the outside world that changes.
Yes and no. So is it though that we react to it differently because we're so used to it? I'll give you an example. The first week I was a police dispatcher, okay, I will never forget it. I was, relatively young. I've never done that kind of work before. I did the training, and then they sit you behind the radio. And the first major incident that I had to deal with was a little Jewish family, as humble as could be, coming home from synagogue, and they were crossing at a pedestrian crossing, and it was their turn to cross. And a double-decker bus in London, the brakes failed and ran over the family. Okay. Now, that was traumatic because there were two kids. The kids got thrown. The mother was on the sidewalk crying her eyes out. They couldn't find the dad. Okay. The dad, they were looking everywhere. And I'm running the incident from the control room. And the units are going, okay, we've checked number 2, we've checked number 4, we've checked number 6. We're checking everybody's garden because the dad obviously from impact possibly got thrown.
Yeah.
But then the inspector came down the radio and said to the girl on the street, he told her, he said, have you looked under the bus?
Right.
And she said, yes, we have. He's not there. And he said, no. I need you to really look under the bus.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring.
Okay. And you can only imagine what had happened. I don't want to go into great detail. That was traumatic. Now that was that was on the Saturday. That was my first shift.
Yeah.
By the next Saturday, I had already done shootings, stabbings, rapes, kidnap, vehicle pursuits, foot pursuits, people being beaten up. I'm watching it on the CCTV. So by the end of that week, I was immune to it. 12-hour shifts. So I would actually disagree that I was in a higher vibrational state, even though Bashar is now telling me, yes, you were. I may have been in a higher vibrational state because I was like, okay, I got a job to do and I need to do it well. And you remove your emotions. But I don't think that's exactly the same higher vibrational state that you're describing.
Yeah, case dependent, obviously.
Right. So if you are constantly re-traumatized,
Right.
then you will act differently, right? And that is a problem. That is a problem in all of the emergency services. Nurses, doctors, maybe not so much unless they're emergency room doctors or like life flight doctors. But, I would say you're not in a higher vibrational state. You're just able to set your emotions aside. But oftentimes that it starts to get you. It does. It usually, some people can just brush it off as, well, it was a job, and those are the really strong people. But as you were staying in the job for quite some time, your colleagues start to commit suicide and you never saw it coming.
Mm-hmm.
So it does affect you. I think you're looking for your example of the road rage incident, which is, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, hey, sorry. And you let them drive off angrily and you don't sweat it.
Right.
Now that is a higher vibrational state.
Yeah.
I think we should continue to probe source on, how we manifest the physical that we want. So if anybody has any questions, I would say drop them, of course, on the Discord. If you're not on the Patreon, seriously, people, it's like hardly anything. You get CTT healing every Monday. You get to talk to Mr. Shakespeare. You get to talk to Mr. Robot, Max, when he's in town. We have a really nice group of people there. You get your healing every Monday morning. What more can you want? You're not going to go anywhere else and get healed for less than $5 a week, right? It's just, it's ridiculous. It's like, maybe $3 a week, maybe $4. I don't even think it's $4 a week. That's a stretch. $3 a week, US. Okay. And you're getting healed every Monday morning. It's just crazy. Anyway, Mr. Robot, how do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so people can book a Reiki healing session with me. Best way is email moongrass777@gmail.com. And I can actually vouch for Liz's CTT because every time I do it, I am like super weightless after. It's amazing the weight that gets removed.
Yeah, it really is. So like an example, we work on our DNA. Last week we worked on, this week we worked on birth trauma. Halloween week, we worked on manifestation. I gave everybody the stages to manifesting. But, it's up to you guys if you stick with it. You have to stick with it. We've done all kinds of stuff. We heal lots of different things. And you do feel better. And the people that have been doing it for quite some time, they even comment that they're brought into this, type of awareness that wasn't there available to them before. So it's awesome. So blowing my own trumpet, I have to say it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I'm actually experiencing that awareness because I haven't done a CTT with you in like months and months, but I did one this Monday, and this week has been like really interesting. Like my awareness level is really high. It's really weird. I'm not used to it.
It does make you very aware. Now, what we do on a Monday is just, that's the basic CTT. The powerhouse stuff is in the individual sessions. And actually, I will go ahead and let you all know, and I know I've threatened this all the time, but I just can't. I'm cutting my calendar off until the new year. So, I'm sorry about that, but it's just getting booked out, kind of stupid now. It's going into May. Like that, we're going 6 months out. I just don't like to do that. So The best way, if you wanted to experience CTT now, is to join the Patreon at Remote Viewing and Beyond. I think this was an excellent probe. As always, round of applause. I always give you a round of applause. And again, I'm sure we'll have something really exciting coming up soon. So thank you very much.
And also for anyone who's listening, that Monday morning, you release a link where they can join, right?
Yeah, that is on the Patreon and on the Discord. Yes.
And what time do you usually do it at?
It's at 9 a.m. Central, but if they can't make it, then the recording is always available.
For sure. Cool. Thanks,
It's
Liz.
awesome stuff. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody, for being here and listening.
All right. Thank you.